Hello, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll start in just a few minutes as usual. See if anybody is joining late, but thank you for coming tonight. It's 11 p.m. for our presenter. It's 1 o'clock p.m. for me and 6 o'clock for you, I think, in Bhutan. So spanning the universe here. All right. Well, Srijana, keep an eye on the waiting room and we will get started. I'm so pleased today to have Joymini Seal from the University of Sydney presenting on admissions, scholarships, what you can explore and study and expect as you're looking into moving to the wonderful universe down under. Sorry, I had to. So without further ado, I will turn it over to you, Joymini, and thank you so much again for your time. I know you'll run through a couple of just what to expect for the session, and then when it gets to the question and answer time, I will be happy to help facilitate that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Melissa. I think I'll just start sharing my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen now. Yeah, I think you can see it, right? Perfect. Thank you. All right, so let's get started. To start off with, as you can see, my name is Joymini Seal, and I am from the University of Sydney. I work in the university as the regional recruitment advisor for the regions of South and Central Asia, Middle East, and Africa. So a little bit about myself. I have lived in Australia for a little about 5 years almost now. And I can speak 3 languages. I am from India, so I can definitely speak and understand the local Indian languages. Of course, due to my role, travel has been a part and parcel of my life so far. I, as an individual, came to Australia as well as an international student 5 years ago. So yes, if you ask me why I chose Australia as my destination to study, or like, for my higher education, then it's definitely because of the weather here. They're like amazing. So we have 4 distinct weathers. You can feel the warmth during the summer. You can see the jacaranda and all the other flower festivals around you in the spring. We have very heavy rainfall as well. Winters are quite chilly. So yeah, it's wonderful down here. Beaches, of course, there is no doubt about this fact that Australia is known for its beaches. Sorry. Yeah, so we are known for our beaches and of course for better opportunities and the quality of education, the research opportunities that I have received here in Australia has been, of course, the best experience that I could ever expect. It's a very multicultural city. As I landed in Sydney myself as an international student, I can say it for a fact that we have over 190 nationals just within this one city from across the globe. So you can imagine when I say multicultural, what is the kind of multiculturalism that I'm speaking of. So 190 kind of different food, different languages, different cultures, different art. So yeah, that's really a few of the many reasons why I think I chose Sydney, and probably the few reasons why you would look at Sydney as well for your dream destination of studying abroad. Moving on, before I start, just little housekeeping items. So I will aim to keep it around, so this entire session will run for about 1 hour, and I will aim to keep the presentation for a little less than 40 minutes, to be honest, so that we have more time to chat and answer all your questions that you may have. But also throughout the presentation, feel free to ask any questions you want in the chat box. I will, of course, answer those after the presentation is over. All right, moving on. So as the name suggests, we are the University of Sydney. And of course, we are located in Sydney, which is Australia's largest and most dynamic city. And rightfully so, Sydney is one of the world's friendliest cities and one of the top 10 most livable cities by all the recent rankings. Also, as I already said, Sydney is one of the most popular cities for international students. So every year we receive over 178,000 students from overseas in various categories of higher education, vet, ELICOS, high schools, etc. Um, as I already said earlier, of course, we are one of the most multicultural cities in the world, with 73% of Sydney-siders actually being born overseas, and 75 of the households here in Sydney speaks a language other than English. So as you can say, like, for example, I am here, I have made Sydney my home. And of course, my first language is not English. And there are many, many, many others like me. That's roughly about 75% of people like me who has chosen Sydney to be their homes. And they have different cultural backgrounds. Now, moving on. So, as this says, welcome to Sydney. You can see the bird's eye view of one of the most amazing and iconic locations of Sydney. You can see the Sydney Opera House on one side here, and on the other, you can see the Sydney Darling Harbour Bridge. Of course, you can, I'm sure if you have seen other photos of Sydney, you must have seen these two architectures most widely. So yes, that is a little part of the vast and the wide city that we have. Um, the beaches are of course very close. The water here, as you can see, after that we don't have much of the land, so it's just pretty much beaches and beaches circumpassing all of Sydney and upwards and beyond. Um, we are pretty hungry, so yes. If I have to say, the University of Sydney, we are based out of here in the Camperton, Darlington suburb. But all these little blurbs that you can see across the photo here, so all of these blurbs are actually a little indication, not exact, but a little around an appropriate indication of the University of Sydney's facilities and campuses. Like we have a campus within the Sydney CBD, we have another campus, facility in the Surrey Hills, which is pretty close to the Sydney CBD. We have the Sydney Music School, which is right behind the Sydney Opera House, which works really well for us, especially for our music students. And then when we say we are the University of Sydney, we are not just in Sydney, we are pretty much all across NSW and beyond in Queensland and everywhere else. But just to give you an idea of where we are in NSW, that is the state where Sydney is located in, we are 250 kilometers upwards from Sydney. There's a place called Orange, we are there. 400 kilometers upwards called Dubbo, we are there as well. 1,150 kilometers up, Broken Hill, we are also there. So those are pretty much our research facilities, where most of our PhD students spend their time researching on some breakthrough innovations. Westmead, there is a little campus of ours there in collaboration with the Westmead Hospital, where our medical students, nurses spend most of their time doing their work components and the practical work that they require to complete as a part of their program. So yeah, all the University of Sydney is in Sydney, but as I said, we are all across NSW. Moving forward, this is something that you would be very happy to know, that University of Sydney is Australia's first university, and we were founded in the year 1850, and we are modeled on the Oxford and Cambridge universities. So if you look at our campus, I'll show you a better picture after this. But if you look at the campus from here, we are exactly identical to how the University of Oxford and Cambridge universities look like, because we were made in the same era. So we have the same Gothic architecture. Many people also had mistaken our university to be Hogwarts. And many also asked if some parts of the movie Harry Potter was filmed in our university campuses. Unfortunately, no, but we did take that into account. And so we did open a Quidditch club within the university. So there are actually Potterheads who are big fans of Harry Potter, and they actually have a club called the Quidditch Club, and they play Quidditch within the campus. So yeah, the motto on which William Charles Wentworth, who is the co-founder of the University of Sydney, established the university is that the opportunity for the child of every class to become great and useful in the destinies of the country of Australia. So we always believed, we still believe, and we will definitely stick on to this one emblem of ours, that every child, regardless of their class, creed, gender, race, social, economic, cultural background, everybody should have equal right and opportunity to education. And that is what we are founded on. And rightfully so, we are ranked 38 in the world out of over 22,000 universities which are present globally. So, out of 22,000 universities, we are proudly ranked number 38. And of course, we are very proud of our rankings. One thing to note here is that because of the high rankings, because of the sheer focus on quality over quantity, entry into the University of Sydney is completely based on academic merit only. So, of course, we have a lot of room for co-curriculars, extracurricular activities, etc. And we spend a lot of time and give a lot of opportunities for our students to spend time on, sports, amusements, music, arts, everything. But when we're talking about admission, admission is strictly based on academic merit only, right? Moving on, as I was telling, Sydney is more than a classroom. Of course, for entry into the university, you need to be excellent in your academics. But once you are in the university, this is what we have. We have over 200 clubs and societies to choose from. And you can pursue your passion, as you said, like if you meet new friends, network, try something new that you've never done, because this is the time and this is the place for you to explore everything that you always dreamt of. So, with over 250 plus international partners, that is across universities, institutions, governments, and different other program providers, we have 250 of such international partnerships. And with those kind of partnerships, we usually facilitate our exchange programs, our semester programs, so all the international mobility programs. And that has enabled us, the University of Sydney, to be the largest mobility program holder in Australia. So that is again a very big achievement for us. And of course, a lot of the credit for that goes to all our dedicated and committed professionals who work within the university and who has made this possible. Talking of social clubs, we have creative arts and performance, sports and outdoor recreation, of course, humanitarian and community aid. Just little example of that is every time there is a need for the society, the University of Sydney comes forward to support any humanitarian causes or any community aid programs. The recent one is our university was the first university in NSW who partnered with the NSW government to roll out the vaccination program for COVID-19. And the university premises were turned into NSW vaccination clinics. So yeah, that's just one of the many examples of how we contribute for humanitarian causes. Food and beverages, of course, we love food here. We have so many multicultural societies here. So we love exploring all of the cultural food, different beverages that they bring. So yeah, that is a very important part of our social clubs. Ethnocultural groups, of course, we have an Indian club here, we have a Sri Lankan club, we have a Nepalese club, we have a Pakistani club. So yeah, almost every ethnic background has their own clubs. So that's again a very good way of feeling at home away from home. Apart from the social clubs, of course, we're a university and we have academic and professional clubs as well, through which most of our students get the opportunity to network with, with industry leaders or with alumni who are now successfully running their own companies or working in very big positions across the world, and who are also very keen on giving it back to the community of the university that they have graduated from. So all of them comes together, and that's a fantastic opportunity for our students to network with those kind of people and personalities. Professional development requirements, like you can always seek out to these academic and professional clubs to ask questions like, okay, how do I look for part-time jobs? How do I write a cover letter? How do I write a resume, etc.? So those are just little a few of what you can do outside the classroom in the University of Sydney. Now, as I said, this was just 10 years after our university was built. So this is a photograph of the completed quadrangle and how it looked in the year 1860. Nothing much has changed except bringing up more facilities for our students. So if you see now, this is how we still look. So nothing has changed except we've become bigger in size, larger in our student cohorts, more inclusive, and more multicultural, really. Moving ahead, we are very proud to say that hands down, a few of the most, the best and the brightest minds live here, as the title says. So we've taught 7 prime ministers of Australia, 23 justices or judges of the High Court of Australia here, 110 Rhodes Scholar, and 140 Olympians. So those are really the feather on the top if you have to look at. So that's a very big reflection of, you know, our academic capabilities, our research facilities, and the kind of minds and the people who have been a part of the university. And we always focus and strive to keep the same kind of quality so that all of our students have access to this kind of excellency. We were also one of the first universities in the world to admit female students in 1881, which was just a norm which had started with the Russell Group universities in the UK, very few of them. When America was still hesitant to admit female students, we down under here in Sydney, in Australia, in our first university, we actually started admitting female students, and definitely that is something we are very proud of. And that is what we mean by when we say equal opportunity and equal education, access to education for all. If you join the University of Sydney, you will join a community with over 130 nationalities. Rightfully so, we have over 73,000 students currently studying in the University of Sydney, with 30,000 among them being international students. And international students come from all across the globe to us. We are a proud university with over 280,000 global alumni members. So, of course, we are the oldest university. We started teaching students earlier than anybody else here. So, we definitely have the largest network of global alumni. So, yeah, you will not just find the global alumni of the University of Sydney in Sydney or in Australia, but anywhere across the globe. Moving ahead, so we have the following. These are the few of the areas of interest or the subject areas that are taught in the University of Sydney. Apart from this, we have over 400 subjects or study areas, like, you know, the micro-credentials that you can choose from across these schools, across these faculties. So we have the Faculty of Architecture, Urbanism and Interaction Design, Arts and Social Sciences, Business and Economics, Education and Social Work, Engineering and Information Technology, Health, Medicine and Dentistry, Law, Music, Science, Agriculture, Environment, and Veterinary Science. So really anything and everything that you can possibly think of studying, we offer like all of those in our university. So if you want to follow your interests, and if you have multiple interests, don't be afraid, because you can really follow all of them. Moving ahead, again, another feather on our cap. So 50 of our subjects are ranked consistently highly in the global subject rankings, with the most recent university subject rankings had all of these subjects, as you can see, are listed here and their rankings corresponding to them in the world's top 50 subject rankings. So yeah, we are very highly ranked in a lot of our arts and social sciences degrees. You know, health sciences, we are ranked 4 in the world for sports related subjects. So that's like really a very, very high ranking. Law is very strong in our university, business, science, medicine. So really across all the offerings and the areas of subject studies that we have at least one or more ranked in the world's top 50. Moving ahead, what would you achieve by studying here in the University of Sydney? Well, we are ranked number 2 in the world for global rankings for sustainability and impact. right? So as you may know, the UN has the sustainability goals as the sustainable development goals, and our university has been ranked second in the world for adhering to most of the sustainable developments within the university, and whoever is part, related with us in whoever. So look, wherever the University of Sydney goes, we take our sustainable goals with us. Um, of course, we are also ranked number one in Australia and fourth in the world for graduate employability. That is another very, very important ranking that you should really focus on. So being ranked number one in the world and fourth in the world, number one in Australia and fourth in the world for something called graduate employability really should assure you that no matter what you study at the University of Sydney, our degrees are designed in such a way, our student services teams like employability and the careers team, they are always present there in the university and like of course online, offline, in any capacity you want to help you and to prepare you for the job market while you are studying. So when you graduate or by the time you graduate as one of the most employable graduates, not only in Australia, but in the world. So we are again very proud of that ranking. Now, what does it look like to study at the University of Sydney? So as you may know, in Australia, we have our summers in your winter months, and that is December, January, February are our peak summer months because we're in the Southern Hemisphere. And March, April, May are actually autumn for us. Then again, June, July is kind of like winter kicking in. And then we have rough winters all through July, August, September. And then we have October, November, which is pretty much springtime for us. So currently we are experiencing spring here. Now, how our study periods are divided is that the first semester one starts in February, like mid-February. That's when students come back to campus and we have the welcome week. So lots of fun activities. And we start our classes from March typically, and the semester ends in around May. Then we have our exam period in June. Then we have break in July. And then again, we resume classes from August to October. Again, exams in November, and then a very big summer break from December, January, and February, right? So how for other universities, you might be more accustomed with the terms of fall intake and spring intake or winter intake. We just have semester one and semester two. No fall or no any such other nomenclatures that are used pretty much in the Australian education context as such. So yeah, that's how studying at the university looks like. Of course, it's good to note that we have a mid-semester break as well for 2 weeks. That usually happens like takes place in April, and the mid-semester break in semester two is in September, in mid-September. All right, moving ahead. What do you need to enter the University of Sydney? So all of our degrees have their own individual requirements in terms of grades, scores, and percentages. But apart from your academic requirements of grades and scores and percentages, we also have a mandatory English requirement. So this is something, the English language skills tests that we accept in the University of Sydney are IELTS academic, TOEFL IBT, and the Pearson test of English, that is PTE academic. Cambridge English, of course, if you are studying the IGCSE or the A levels, then you can also prove your English competency by the Cambridge English C1 Advanced or the Cambridge English C2 Proficiency, and we also accept CET. Now, nursing degrees, like degrees in, like say, bachelor's of nursing and stuff like that. So for those kind of degrees, we have different English requirements, which are very specific to that particular degree. If you want any specific information about any degree as such and their entry requirements, I can definitely help you. Feel free to be in touch with me or Melissa or Srijana, anybody. So yes, moving ahead. Of course, we have a lot of international student scholarships, and that is one of the most frequently asked questions that I receive every time I meet students. Um, there are few different types of scholarships at the University of Sydney, and we have scholarships for undergraduate, postgraduate, and research students. So, bachelor's, master's, PhD, MPhil. We have scholarships for all of these cohorts of students. Now, so the three different types of scholarships that we have, one is the general scholarships, which is offered by the university as a whole. The other is the faculty scholarship, that is of course offered by the faculty, which and specific to those faculties, like say an engineering scholarship offered by the engineering school, or scholarships for nursing, which are offered specifically by the health school. So yeah, that's how the scholarships differ. And then, of course, for our research scholars, we have the Australian Government Research Training Program scholarships. That's the RTP. Of course, there are, like, if you want more information about any of those and the list of all the scholarships that we have, here is the website. I'm happy to share all the links with you after this presentation. Okay. Again, a snapshot of what you would get in our campus here. So we have so many offerings and so many international collaborations and partnerships that you can really make the world your campus in the University of Sydney. Starting from faculty-specific programs, like our law school has many individual partnerships that a lot of our other faculties doesn't have, like our Sydney Law School has partnerships with universities like, excuse me, yeah, so we have partnership, like our law school has partnerships with Cambridge University, with the Oxford University, and other universities across Europe, UK, Canada, Japan, China, India. So yeah, if you want to be a part of an exchange program or a short-term program, or a mobility on these other kind of international mobility programs, or exchange programs like a semester exchange or a year exchange kind of programs, then we are actually, as I said, Australia's largest mobility program provider. So if you really want to explore that opportunity of studying with the University of Sydney and studying with some other university in some other part of the globe, you will definitely be able to explore that option as well as a student of our university. And as it's mentioned here, that we aim to ensure that 50% of our students undertake at least one of these mobility programs which are offered, because this is the time and this is really a life-changing experience that you can get. Moving on, as I said, the SUSA, there's a Sydney University Sports Facility, is Australia's premier tertiary sporting body. We are currently as big as 15,000 members, and we have 45 sports and recreational clubs within the sports facility and the fitness facility. We have the elite athlete program, which manages 400 plus athletes per year across the different leagues and tournaments that happens across the globe and Australia. The University of Sydney has proudly produced 177 Olympians. 27 athletes competed in the Rio Olympics, and they got 1 gold, 2 silver, and 1 bronze. To talk about the very recent achievements in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, we again won gold and silver in hockey and swimming. So yeah, every year every 4 years that the Olympics happen and all other tournaments that keeps happening across the globe, we are very proud that at least one member in the team, or that one representative the athlete who represents the country has been related to the Sydney University Sports and Fitness Club, which is again amazing for us. And that really shows that Studying at the University of Sydney is not just studying and all about classroom and notes and lectures and theories. It's also a lot outside the classroom, especially in the areas of fitness, recreation, sports, etc. As you can see here, the University of Sydney rugby team is the oldest club in Australia and the 8th oldest club in the world. Yeah, so that's a little snapshot of how fit we are as a university. Now, moving ahead. Next, very frequently asked questions, accommodation. Yes, the University of Sydney offers a lot of accommodation opportunities, different types of accommodation opportunities. So we have four, specifically speaking, four accommodation options. One is the university residential halls and dorms. A little snapshot of that can be seen here. And then we have the residential colleges, which is the Regiment building and the terraces here. And we have off-campus and private housing options as well in Sydney, for which our accommodation team can support you in your hunt of your accommodation. And independently owned buildings like Urbanist is one of our accommodation partners. So in total, we have over 5,000 accommodation like rooms available for our students, and different types of accommodation facilities have different types of rental, average rent per week. And again, different types of residential halls and dorms and accommodation services has different types of catering services as well. So a few of the accommodation, like the rooms, has self-catered options. Some other have catering options. Self-catered means you have to cook for yourself, so you will have your own kitchen or a shared kitchen depending on your choice. You can choose one such room. Otherwise, we have the catered accommodation, where we will be giving you coupons and you will have to buy your meals for the day. We understand that these rent might be a little expensive for a lot of our students, and that's why if you are not comfortable, or if you do not get, because at the university accommodation are the first ones to go off. So as soon as the student land, everybody wants the university accommodations because of its close proximity to the classrooms and everything else. So if unfortunately you do not get one of our on-campus accommodation for yourself, you can look at off-campus accommodation and private housing accommodation options, for which our accommodation team will guide you on, how to go about finding the right property, how to negotiate the rent with your landlord, what are the bills that should be included, and what should be the right rent, and other such kind of support, so that you're not lost in this new city. Again, the information is all here, and I will share all the information with you later as well if you need me to. Okay, so imagine if we are at the University of Sydney, if we are the at the center of this picture, then if you go walking just 10 minutes on your north, you would find the Sydney CBD, which is of course the busiest downtown, or the CBD of Sydney. So that's the main CBD of Sydney. So of course it's buzzing with people, cars, shops, lights. It's a very buzzy and lively place to be in. 3 minutes walk within the campus, actually, you will find the Victoria Park. The Victoria Park has been gifted by the NSW government to the University of Sydney. And we use this and we maintain this park, of course. Now, all of these, the plants that you can see, the grass, even the water here, everything, every part of this park or the garden is used by our science faculty and are maintained by them, to conserve a lot of different breeds of flora and fauna within the university. 30 minutes on a bus and you reach the iconic and the most popular Bondi Beach, which is known to most of the people, and of course is one of the most popular beaches of Australia. 5 minutes walk to your southwest and you reach a suburb called Newtown, which is filled and brimming with international students, people from all across the globe. youngsters, young professionals. So there are plenty of eateries, restaurants, pubs and cafes. So yeah, after a class, if you're really tired and if you want to unwind, that's where you go to. If you want to chill within a classes, and if you just want to take a quick nap in the winters, then probably lying down under a shade in the Victoria Park is your go-to place. If it's a hot summer day and if you really don't want to sit in the class or within the university anymore, you can just take the bus and you can reach the Bondi Beach. If you want to go for some shopping, want to eat a different kind of a food or a fancy looking ice cream, then the Sydney CBD is just a 10 minutes walk. So yeah, that's how well placed we are as a university, very central to the city of Sydney. Moving ahead, we have a wide range of student support services. As I was telling you, we have a careers team, we have the health and well-being services team, we have the career support team. There is also a team dedicated to extend their support during your enrollment and welcome week supports. So, to choose your accommodation, how to enroll in your units, when are your exam periods, how to choose the subjects, when to pay your fees, how to pay your fees, how to see if you can avail any scholarship, and all those kind of services are actually catered by the enrollment and welcome week support team. Faith and cultural support, as I said, we have students coming from all across the globe to study in the University of Sydney. So it's understandable that we are an inclusive community. So we have a dedicated prayer room for all the different religion, religious backgrounds of people who are studying within the university. Online study support, very important, especially in the era of COVID, that many, all of us have been studying, like all our students have been studying remotely. We have been working remotely, and so we understand how important it is to provide that support to our international students who are struggling with the online study component. So, matching your time zones, how to check if you have your lectures recorded or not, if you had, how to access those, how to access any online materials, because you will not have any physical books. You will have very less of physical books rather, because a lot of our resources are actually available online. So, how to gather those, how to access the e-library of the university. All of those kind of support will be availed through this one support team who specifically deals with the online studies. Right, so we are almost at the end of our presentation here. So this is a little link here through which you can explore our university in 360. As in, you can actually just scroll through the map and drag the map, and you will actually get a virtual feel of how walking through the parts of the university feels like and how the university looks like. That's the closest we can come to the university given our current situation with COVID and the travel restrictions. But I really, really sincerely hope that we are open completely to all our students by next year, early next year. So yeah, fingers crossed. If you want to have a look at this, I can share again this link with you and you can go have a look for yourself. There's a very long video and this is made in a way so that you can personalize your walk and tour through the university. So I don't want to do this for you myself. Moving ahead, these are going to be a few of the very key and useful contacts for you. If you want to reach out to me or my team, we are the International Student Recruitment Team, and so you can email us on this email address, international.recruitment@sydney.edu.au. For prospective students who wants to have more information about how to apply to the university, how to apply for a scholarship, and any other such inquiries that you may have, how to enroll for units and stuff like that, we have this team who deals with all such kind of questions. So you can reach out to them on this web link that is attached there. University course search, yes. So we do have one of the web links within the university website where you can find a list of all the degrees that we offer within the University of Sydney. International student scholarships, as I said, it's again a very important web link for you to save. And the last one is, of course, the University of Sydney Accommodation Office, which will help you with your accommodation needs. All right, so we have come to an end of our presentation, and I promise you this is exactly how we look, as you can see in the picture. When it's one of those busy periods in the orientation week, and we have all our students from all across the globe on our campus, this is how lovely, lively, and colorful the university looks like. So yeah, mix of the modern generation here in the old architecture, that's the University of Sydney. Right. Any questions? Open to all discussions now.
I wrote a couple of mine down. I think the one that's
Mhm.
probably easiest to answer is if a student is taking IB courses, can they get college credit? That's just one that I wanted to understand quickly.
No, so if they're doing an IB, then we do have those entry requirements for them to meet, of
Okay.
course. And they are
Okay.
actually one of those cohort of students who can get an unconditional offer letter even with the predictive scores.
Okay.
And same goes for A levels as well. But unfortunately, they would not be able to claim credits for their
Okay.
studies in the year
Okay.
12. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. And then if we could just get a little bit more, I guess just not super specific, but just a tiny bit more information on anything that you think would be helpful for scholarship
Okay, yeah.
notification or
Yep, sure. Look, again for scholarships, it's actually I'll stop sharing the screen and I can open the scholarship screen. Just give me a second. But yeah, before I start sharing that screen, actually, it's good to note that most of our scholarships as well, like all of our scholarships at the University of Sydney, are again based on academic merit only. So, especially, I'll just try to show you the ones which are most relevant to most of our students, like international students from South Asia. So let's go with the bachelor's and honors degrees. So let's say somebody is interested in one of the faculty scholarships, and a student is studying with the Faculty of Engineering, for example. So I'm just going to share my screen once again. Right, you can see that?
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, so there's the Faculty of Engineering, and the Faculty of Engineering
Ah,
offers these following. So we have these schools under the bigger Faculty of Engineering: the School of Aerospace, Mechanical, Mechatronic, Biomedical, Chemical, Civil, Computer, IT, Infra, Electrical. So now all of these different schools, they offer these scholarships, and these are particular to the faculty. Now, let's say a student is eligible to apply for the Engineering Undergraduate Merit Scholarship. This is one of the most popular scholarships that we have at the university. Now, with this, I guess itself, you can see the kind of eligibility criteria that we have. So we need the student to be a current school leaver, as in he or she should not have started with their studies at the University of Sydney already. They should be a prospective student. They must apply for an undergraduate program in the Faculty of Engineering because it is offered by the Faculty of Engineering. But this is the most important condition, that they must achieve a minimum ATAR of 96 and above. ATAR equivalent will also work. So we are talking so that is the minimum criteria. So if the minimum is 96%, we are looking at, most of the times we are just capped at 98, and we don't even have to come down to 96. So that's the kind of competition, especially because it's offered by the faculty. And most, as I said, most of our scholarships are merit based, and when a scholarship is merit based, it just automatically becomes very competitive academically. We have the general scholarships as well, as I was talking about. So I'll just show you an example of a postgraduate degree now. So let's say, of course, we have the Rotary International Scholarships. I am aware that Rotary is very strong in most of the South Asian countries. So if you want to avail the scholarship, you can, of course, visit the Rotary Club nearest to you and check the eligibility criteria with them, because there's an externally funded scholarship. But something that is internally funded by the university would be the Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship Scheme. All right, so let's take a look at this one. The value is very high. It's up to $40,000. However, the $40,000 is payable only for 1 year. So let's say if a student who is studying a bachelor's degree, the degree is 3 years long, that student will, even if that student is able to get this scholarship, he would only get the 40,000 paid just for the first year, and the rest of the 2 years and the rest of the balance of the fees, which is left from the first year as well, would be on the student to pay by himself or herself. So it's not fully funded. We at the university do not have any fully 100% or 50% scholarships as such, but we have varying values. So the highest would be here 40,000. If a student is not eligible for the 40,000, they would be getting the 20,000. If not 20,000, 10,000. If not the 10,000, 5%. Sorry, the 5,000 one. The entry requirements or the eligibility criteria seem fairly easy. You have to be an international student, of course, which you would be. You will have to apply for a bachelor's degree or a master's degree program, but have not started studying. So which means you need to be a future student. You can be a prospective student. You can't be a current student. And you must receive an unconditional offer for admission by the relevant close date. So having an unconditional offer from the university itself means that you're eligible to enter the university. So it's pretty straightforward there. But what happens after that is a person who has, say, received the minimum marks required to get in the university, say somebody who has gotten a 65% and has applied for a postgraduate degree, that person will usually be eligible to apply to the University of Sydney and get admitted. So let's say that person is holding an unconditional offer letter. And also somebody who has scored 99% is clearly eligible as well. And that person has also received an unconditional offer letter. Now, the highest ranked students will be eligible to compete for the highest scholarship, that is the 40,000. So that's how the ranking pool works. So when we come down, because the spots are limited, as you can see here, and the amount of the scholarship is also limited. So when we come down to the 5,000 value, we are probably capped at maximum 80% or 85%. We don't even have to go beyond that. So just because you have received an unconditional offer for admission doesn't mean you are also eligible to get one of the scholarships, because all of our scholarships are very, very competitive, and also they are very limited in amount and quantity. And yeah, as I said, very, very academically competitive. So yeah, that's a little idea about how scholarships are and how scholarships work here. But yes, this is a very popular scholarship, again, among our international students, especially for the South Asian cohorts of students. And the other one in the engineering school, which I had shown, was also very popular. But yes, if you have any other scholarships in mind that you would want more information about, or when you're applying for the university, I think it becomes more clear to us of what you're going to study, and to get in touch with that particular faculty and to see what works the best for you. So yeah, I think it would be better if I can get it on a case-on-case basis.
Okay. Yeah, and we had a just a question about nursing, and so I found just the link to. Actually, I might have put the wrong link in though. Is it Bachelor of Nursing Advanced Studies, or is it a different name?
Oh no, so this is one.
Okay.
So advanced studies just adds one extra year. So advanced,
Okay.
yeah. But there is also something called the pre-registration degree and something which is the
Okay.
registered nursing degree. I'll just share those links as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
If
That's
it's
probably more helpful.
no problem, thanks for helping me there. If it's about undergrad, then here is one. Just let me check.
Okay.
I'll just mute
Perfect.
myself.
Joymini, did you mean to be muted?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I was just reading.
Is that okay?
Yeah. I was just reading off the screen, I guess. Okay.
As of now, do you guys have any Bhutanese students in your university?
It's very hard to say if we have any particular demography of students in the university.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember last year, one of our scholarships students of this scholarship that I had shown you, the VCIA scholarship, was actually a Bhutanese national.
Oh,
So that means we do have Bhutanese students and very good quality of Bhutanese students. We also have, for application purposes, we have authorized a few of the education agents across the globe, of course, to work on our behalf, especially with visas and, even with the process of putting in an application to the university. And we do have a lot of our authorized agents, two of our authorized agents actually, who are based off Bhutan.
okay.
Yeah, so I can also share that link. So if you want to apply to the University of Sydney, um, these are a few of our agents, education agents who
Yeah,
are
that'd be nice. Yeah.
who are present in Bhutan, and you can take their help to, process your application, your visa, and everything else that is required. I'll just share that. Just give me a second. Yep. Here is the link.
Got it. Thank you.
I'm a little lost here. Okay, Melissa, I'll just go ahead with
Okay.
explaining how the Bachelor of Nursing Advanced Studies works like. But yeah, it'll I'm just trying to look up for the other link, which I can't seem to find here now. All right, let's just go ahead with this. So
Okay.
if you would like to take admission into this particular program, first of all, I would need to know the kind of curriculum you're studying now. So if you're doing CBSE, ICC, and international boards, or if you are in one of the Bhutanese national local boards, because we do not accept a lot of education qualifications, and the ones that we accept are there listed in the drop down menu. So if I can just have an understanding from you, Ray, of what your educational qualification is currently, then probably I'd be able to advise you better. But let's say if you haven't taken one of our qualifications that we accept at the university, you will have to take a SAT test, that is the SAT, the Scholastic Aptitude Test, and you will have to score 1200. Sorry, I think for international students it's 1170 out of 1600. And you will have to meet the English requirements for the degree as well. As you can see here, there's a 3 years full-time degree, and you can study it part-time. As an international student, you have to get done with your degree within the stipulated 3 years time, and you will study full-time. Now, as a part of this degree, we also have a mandatory work component, as in while you are studying, you will also have to work as a as a registered nurse. So that also gives you an understanding and an exposure into the life of a practicing nurse even before you graduate. Of course, it will be within the university sometimes in a simulated environment, and within the Westmead facility, as I showed in my earlier slides, where our medicine, dental, and our nursing students work together in a real hospital environment. And you will have to complete the 880 hours of work component, which translates to 40 hours of work component per week. So that's pretty much like working full time every week, apart from your studies. And apart from that, as you can see here, which is a part of the professional experience placement, is the PEP program. The pre-registration nursing degrees, like this one, like this degree, is designed in such a way that it introduces you to the profession of nursing through, of course, both the clinical setting, as I told you, which you will get through the 880 hours of working experience, and the theoretical classes that you will have while studying the theories in the classroom with the university. Now, an essential feature of all pre-registration nursing curriculum which are offered by the University Nursing School is a structured off-campus PEP program like this one, which is also referred to as the Student Clinical Experience Program, which is undertaken in a variety of practice settings. So you may be able to work, say, in public and private hospitals. You will be able to work in legal custodies and mental health services, community health units, centers and schools. So yeah, wherever the role of a nurse is required, you will get to choose your experience and your exposures as you want in these different placements and settings. So yeah, not always would your experience be within the Sydney city. You might be required to go interstate or in the regional and remote areas of NSW to complete your work component. So it might not always be as easily accessible as the city life. You might also have to spend a few hours around the kangaroos. So yeah, apart from that, admission criteria, as you can see, I told you if you are not taking any one of the approved qualifications which are accepted by us, you will have to take the SAT. And if you're able to meet the academic requirements, you are then required to meet the English requirements. And for English, for nurses especially, the requirement is a little higher. So we need an IELTS. If you're taking the IELTS test, you will need a minimum overall score of 7 and a minimum score of 7 as well in each component of speaking, reading, writing, and listening.
I think this student studied in Canada and got a 1550 SAT, so they should be okay on the requirements.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 1550
Okay.
is perfect because our requirement is 100, like 1170.
Can you get paid for any of those work experiences? Probably not.
No. So it's a study requirement.
All right.
But oftentimes, so what happens is this program is taken by our students in the final year, typically in the final semester. So what happens is most of our students get absorbed into these roles and they start working as practicing nurses. In the same in the same setting that they are interning at or they are completing the work component from. So yeah,
maybe
that's
future job security.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I've also put my email in the text box if anybody needs that. And then Janmini, I will close the questions there. And then, yep, I can always put when I upload the presentation and the files and some of the links you discussed today, I'll be sure to include your email address as well. But yeah, this has been super helpful. Thank you so much for staying up so late at night. And thank you for everybody who could join us, taking the time out of your holiday as well. So thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for today. It's been lovely speaking to you all.
Yep.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you for your time.
Thank you so much. All right.
No
Take
problem.
care, everybody.
See you
We'll
again.
see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.